you're doing well. Welcome to Book Club. We always say that this is the best book review show on your screens right now, and I'm your host, Joanna Njeri, and I am joined today by one and only
Lois Samuel. Glad to be back on Book Club.
Yes, I know you've seen her from last episode, and we are glad to have you back.
Thanks
As I said, this will not be a one-time thing. We plan on having you on board.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
How was your week, Lois?
Well, my week was beautiful. Further engagements on love languages. And I'd say Gary did us something very nice to get the book written, and even better to have it reviewed, because it gave a perspective to people out there to, you know their languages, know where they were failing. And it's just amazing to see people now appreciate everything that comes with having a love language.
That's interesting. My week was good as well. I love the fact that there were engagements. And thank you to you. I don't know what happened, you guys. Is it Lois? Should we have her all the time? Because the views were amazing. Thank you for your support. If you are returning from last episode, karibu sana. And yeah, let's continue reading and learning together, because that's all Book Club is about. And as promised, guys, once we review books, we'll be having a side chat for that. And after basics, we did a side chat on dating and quoting, the semantics, and we got to understand. And by the way, guys, if you didn't note the correction on the definition of semantics, you should go back to that and note that. And this week, we want to have a more detailed conversation from Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages. And Lois, as you said, there have been engagements through the week. A lot. Conversations going on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. And a question that was asked,
which is very interesting.
Yes.
To think about it.
Yes, is that, can one person have all the 5 love languages? And if so, does that create a more balanced life than when one just has one love language? What came to your mind when that question was posed to you or to us?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that we all have traces of all the 5 love languages. But there is what I'd call, what is dominant, what is speaking most to you, what fills your love tank more, what Gary was calling the primary language, and then there's the secondary language. The rest will be in very small traces. Just the same way we say that, you can go to the hospital and you're told that you have traces of malaria. That doesn't mean you have malaria. There's just some traces. So same case, when you come to, what are these other things called? Personalities. Thank you. There is the dominant personality. Maybe you're phlegmatic, but you will have those other small traces.
A little bit of a sanguine, a little bit of a choleric
and all. But I don't think a sanguine can have a trace of a choleric anyway.
I don't know how that works, but we'll get to that maybe in some other conversation. And for me, I could say the same, but just to mention, as you say, there are shouting characteristics of a person. And for me, I feel like it's quite not possible to have all the 5, just that they are communicated in one way or another. Because if your primary love language is receiving gifts, when I probably bring the gift to you, I will tell you, as I give you this, Lois, I love you. And in the process, that is affirming words. You will definitely appreciate the words that I give to you, but it's not your love language. So, yeah, does it create a more balanced life? Even if you just have the 2 that are shouting, maybe your primary and secondary, you're still balanced. I mean, look at the African setting, as we were talking earlier. Did we grow up really experiencing or having these languages communicated to us? Maybe from your point of experience,
Probably from Lois as a child.
Lois as a child,
I'd say I received love through words of affirmation. Something I'd like to credit to my dad, because he was very vocal. You've done well in school, this is very nice, this is a good grade. And gifts, that would really motivate me a lot. But when we look at the other side of, say, physical touch, most African parents, kwanza physical touch, it's a taboo.
It's true, yeah. Like there are a percentage of parents who will go out there giving their children hugs, and as you say, the African setting, you know, our culture doesn't really allow us to go beyond some extent. You know, I remember there are times that we used to hug with my dad, like it was just, you know, but as we grew, you tend to, not because there is anything wrong in that, but just for the sake of respecting the culture. And one would think, no, because my dad is not hugging me, there is no love. No, it doesn't imply that. And by that mere fact, I am still living a balanced life through the things he's done. Maybe for me, it was basic things such as paying school fees. I remember you telling me that it was it was a responsibility for them. But you see, for me, I feel like him going to that extent of going to the bank and paying school fees for me. Some children are sent to pay their own fees from an early age of 5. Well, if you do that, that's not wrong. Yeah. Simple things as going to the extent of bringing nyama in the evening back home for us to prepare for dinner. That is enough communication, and maybe it depends with the setting that you are in. So for me, I feel like you can still be balanced even without experiencing all the 5. Yeah, and we just portray an aspect of each.
Wow, that's beautiful. And then I think again it depends on the setup. Like you'd find someone, physical touch features nowhere in their love languages. But then when I'm going through loss, I'm going through grief, we tend to, there's a lot of, you know, a pat on the back, there's a lot of hugging you, just telling you it will be okay. So I think at that particular point, physical touch will communicate to nearly each and every person that we care about you, we love you, we're in this together. But in other instances, it will not. And again, at other times, we don't really need to be, you know, told. So at another point, words might not really work. And, you know, the thinking that maybe you can have a balanced life because of receiving all 5, I believe it's not true, because Gary was talking about a love tank. That if you receive love in the correct, you know, language, the language you understand, your tank gets full. So I don't think there is an overflow in that tank, but there is definitely a deficit if you receive love in a way you don't, you know, understand
or comprehend. I get it. Okay, I hope the viewer that asked that question has the answer as well put. If not, you can always feel free to reach to us through our social media pages. And I know that there are people, there are even professionals in the same, that could help us in that, because we're just having a simple, detailed, maybe conversations based on the book that we read. And again, Lois, it brings me to my second or maybe third. Now that we know we have the 5 languages put, some of the people actually made it clear that I don't know what my love language is. How do I find out what my love language is?
Well, number 1, Gary gave a test. There's a test that you can do, www.lovelanguages.com. You'll find the online test, which proves very true of all the people that have done the test. They're able to identify their language and that it actually works on them. But Gary said something very interesting. What you request for mostly, that is your love language. For instance, you'd find someone who's always requesting, can I just hug you? Can I just hold your hand?
Can I hold your hand? I am that person, and I don't ask for hugs. I'll just find myself asking, can you do this for me? Can you? And it's just out of maybe a need I have, or something I am looking into, that if you do it for me, I will feel,
and is it something you can do? Is it something you can do yourself?
I'm like, I'm in town. I can actually go to that shop and get the thing for myself, but I'm like, it's easier. You're using that route. Let me see if you can just. But most of the times, some even do it like very unintentionally, or what is the correct word? I don't know what the correct word to use is, but it's not like you can't do it yourself. You're just showing that you need that thing. So it's like projecting a request so that you realize this is my love language. I think I have put it in a correct way so that people would understand. So finding yourself asking for a handshake, which, come aside, there is corona. I mean, you don't need to be out there asking for handshakes, but you see, maybe they are doing that unknowingly just projecting that this is my love language, this is the niche I need you to feel.
Wow.
Yes.
So anything when you listen to your request, the request you make mostly, that is your love language. The people who will be out there and requesting for, if only they appreciated the work I do, if only they just verbalize that I am doing this well. That person is asking for words of affirmation. They know they have done it well, but they just need to hear it.
To hear it.
Yes.
So that again brings us to now the verbal, way of knowing that this is my love language. So like us, we said it on set, like, this is my love language. And I think there are plain people like that. Like, instead of us wasting time, I hear we're in the 21st century, we don't want to be out here wasting time. So I'll just be like, for you to show me that you love me, you need to buy me something. And I've heard that from so many ladies on social media. Sometimes you don't even know whether it's true, but you will gather the truth in it from the interests as well. Do they appreciate when you buy them stuff? If like I'm constantly buying you things and you're like, out, uko nyuma kwa closet, ama I ever bought someone. Oh my God, this is so wrong. I hope you don't remember, because I do remember. I ever bought someone my favorite yogurt, and I thought, because we used to take it with them, actually it was a lady friend of mine. I actually thought they also loved it. But one day I had bought it like on a Thursday. I go like a week later, the other Thursday, no, Friday, and I find it they actually having expired. I think they just opened it and sipped it, and I was like, so all along I've been doing the wrong thing, buying yogurt and milk, and probably they don't even love lactose. Yeah, so you need to identify, is this person appreciative of what I'm doing? Are they interested in the time I am spending with them? Maybe then that is their love language. So gather the interest, verbalize it when it's really necessary, and also identify from the requests that they make. And
something else that I found interesting, from the complaints. The people are always complaining. You never get to spend time with me. We never get to go to the movies. This person is communicating that quality time is their love language. They only need time and nothing else. On the other hand, there are those people that are always complaining that you never do this for me. You never mow the grass. You never take the trash out. That person is complaining. You never do any acts of service. Why? Because that is their love language.
Amazing.
Yes, and I found it really interesting.
Yeah. So I hope that we have helped you a little on identifying your love language. If it's really a need for you right now to identify, because it brings me to then why do we have to identify? Is it a must we do? And if it is, Lois, what do you think is the importance or are the advantages of knowing your love language?
Well, I think there are those things we call, it's not really, it doesn't mean that if you live life without identifying your love language, it's not a good life. But there is that advantage of knowing that this is how I understand love. This is how love is best communicated to me. You will have healthier relationships.
Exactly.
You will understand, why am I always conflicting with my boss? Why is my mom ever a loggerheads with me? You see? So understanding that will help you healthier relationships. I think that's the bottom line. And like Gary put it, that it's love that lasts. You want to have a loving relationship between those that are around you. So I think that is why it is important to understand, again, to know things that hurt you. You know, you might always be complaining, yet this person seems to be hurting you in quotes because they don't understand the language that you speak.
It's true.
For instance, if your love language is words of affirmation like me, you really need to know, because words will hurt you. You need to build what I'd call, like, you need to identify, this person is building me up, this person is not building me. Yeah.
That's important. And we said not only quality, but healthy. I quote and quote what you said. That's, and for me, I think, I don't know, I am a very straightforward person. I've realized that when it comes to adulting, and you know, time is money. So if we spared time and went straight to it, I think it would be really good for each and every one of us, because by then we would be having enough time to enjoy the life we have. Because if I'm constantly doing stuff that is not
It's not helping
communicating to you. Don't you think a lot of time is wasted in that? And a lot
of emotions.
Yes, the heart that is in there, and as you said, Gary Chapman is for the goal building lasting relationships. So I mean, we want to have quality time to enjoy that. So let's spare ourselves the energy. Let's live quality and healthy lives that are relational. And yeah, for me, I think there is a lot from Gary Chapman that you can learn. If you still haven't read the book, I know some of us need to be pushed. Remember in habit formation, we say that we need a 66 days rule. So go back to that, read, even if it's a statement a day, in the morning, in the evening. Sometimes it goes to the extent of bringing in friends to motivate you to read them books. I don't know what you have to tell them, Lois. Yeah.
You can set a goal for yourself that I need to read this book probably in the next 3 months and try to hit and achieve your goals and your targets, because reading is a nice habit. If there's any other habit you need to form, number one should be reading books. It not only gives you knowledge, it helps to broaden your, the way you see things. It broadens your horizons. So it's beautiful. And maybe before we wrap this up, we talk about, as we're engaging with the audience through the week, I realized there are people who didn't probably, not that they didn't receive love, they didn't just understand how their parents communicated love to them.
Okay.
Is it too late to change the relationship we had with our parents?
Oh, wow.
Is it too late? And if you're a parent, how do you communicate love to your child?
To your child, yeah? Or children, if you have more than one. Yes. I know it's not too late. And even if it's late, better late than never. So if you are in a strenuous relationship or a straining one with your parents, sometimes it takes us sacrifice to drop our ego and our pride and just be the ones to reach out. Yeah, I've been in spaces where I have helped people reach out to their parents. Some are. Oh my God, you wouldn't want to even imagine, that such a young girl could be in such a relationship with their mother, and probably it's the only parent that they have right now. So for me, I'd say it's not too late. There is this thing about being the bigger person nowadays, and I don't know, I feel like it's a messed up idea. Like you wait, Lois, it's such complicated issues right now happening, but I know that it is possible. So what you do, you just pray to God to give you the strength to reach out. If it's a parent, find the simplest things to do. Your child, probably you've lived with them more than 18 years. They are probably an adult now and moving out. We're in that stage of transition. Some have actually moved out. Find time, create time and space so that you will talk it out. Tell them that I am willing, because sometimes it only takes the words, because they might be buying them gifts and they are returning them. I've seen it with people, especially sons, they're like, so my dad thinks I can buy for myself this thing, and they take it back because now that gift does not come as a form of communicating love, rather a form of feeling,
covering up
a
relationship that's kind of broken and stuff.
So I know that it's not late. So you can reach out, verbalize it, tell them, create time and space, and be intentional about it.
That's very key. Be intentional. Well, even as adults, we need to be intentional. For me to communicate your language is acts of service. I probably don't like doing things for you, but for the sake of us having a healthy relationship, I have to be intentional that at least maybe I'll do for Joanna one thing per week, just to sustain that
relationship.
Yes, so there's need to be intentional.
That's very important. And I think, guys, as we come to a close, that's all we have, and it's important that you know your love language. We will keep saying that. Maybe just to mention on those people that we say that are unlovable. We say that no one is unlovable. So identify their love language as well. Look at the complaints, the requests, the interests, and finally,
the way they communicate love themselves.
That's it, guys. I hope you have had fun. Maybe just in advance, for next week we will be doing Mike Todd's relationship goals, so you can read in advance so that we will review it together. And that's it from me. I have had fun today.
I've had fun as well. Love Languages. It's one of the best and informative books I've read. It's something that's very practical. It's not like the algebras we read. So it's practical. Yeah. You can grab yourself a copy. It's not too late to read. You can do the online test. And let's have healthier relationships. Baraka.
Peace, guys.